Adrian Hayes stood in the grand throne room of the Valoran Imperial Palace. His jaw set in a hard line as he faced Empress Lyssa. The towering alien woman was nearly 7 feet tall, her crystalline skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in rhythm with her elevated heartbeat. Her 4 arms were crossed, 2 over 2, and her violet eyes blazed with an emotion that transcended species. "You cannot leave," she said, her voice carrying the harmonics that made Valoran speech sound like a chorus. "I forbid it." Adrian had known this conversation would be difficult. 3 years ago, he had arrived on Valora Prime as part of the first human diplomatic mission to the outer reaches. The galaxy had opened up to humanity only a decade prior, and Earth was still learning its place among the stars. The Valorans were an ancient empire, their civilization spanning millennia, while humans had barely mastered fusion drives. He had been assigned as a cultural liaison, tasked with building bridges between 2 vastly different peoples. What he had not expected was to fall into the complicated web of imperial politics, and certainly not to become entangled with the Empress herself. "Lyssa," he began, using her name rather than her title. They were past formalities now. "My tour of duty is complete. Earth needs me back. The diplomatic corps is being restructured, and I have orders." "Orders?" She practically spat the word. The luminescence beneath her skin shifted from violet to deep crimson, a sign of anger that Adrian had learned to recognize. "Your people send you across the stars. You help forge an alliance that has saved both our civilizations from the Krell invasion, and now they simply recall you like a piece of equipment?" "It does not work that way, and you know it," Adrian replied, keeping his voice calm. "I am a soldier and a diplomat. I go where I am needed." Lyssa descended from her throne, each step deliberate and measured. The chamber was vast, its walls adorned with the history of Valoran conquest and achievement. Holographic displays showed star systems under imperial control, trade routes, fleet positions. This was the heart of an empire that ruled over 200 worlds. And its empress was shaking with barely controlled fury. 3 years, she said, her voice dropping to something that resembled a whisper, though it still echoed in a cavernous space. 3 years you have stood beside me. You taught me about human philosophy, about your art and music. You were there when the Krell Armada threatened our borders. Your tactical insights helped me restructure our entire fleet doctrine. And I am proud of what we accomplished together, Adrian said, feeling the weight of every word. But that does not change the reality of the situation. I have to go home. Lyssa stopped 3 paces from him, her secondary arms uncrossed, reaching out as if to touch him, then dropping to her sides. Do you think this is easy for me? Do you understand what you mean to my people? The Valorans respect strength and wisdom. You, a human from a species we barely knew existed, came here and proved that your kind possesses both. You have become a legend in our empire. I never sought that, Adrian said. No, you did not. That is precisely why it matters. Lyssa's eyes searched his face, looking for something. But there is more. Something you do not know. Something that changes everything. Adrian felt a chill run down his spine, despite the warm atmosphere of the throne room. What do you mean? Lyssa took a breath, and Adrian saw something he had never witnessed in 3 years. The Empress of Valora, ruler of billions, looking vulnerable. I am carrying your child, she said. The words hit Adrian like a physical blow. His mind raced through everything he knew about Valoran biology, about the impossibility of what she was claiming. That cannot be possible. Our species are not compatible. Every xenobiologist confirmed that cross-species reproduction is impossible. Your xenobiologists were wrong, Lyssa said, and now there was a note of triumph in her voice, mixed with the anger. We kept it secret. My personal medical staff and I, we wanted to be certain before making any announcements. The child is real, Adrian. Our child. Adrian's thoughts tumbled over each other. He remembered the night 6 months ago when their relationship had shifted from professional to personal. The Valorans had different customs regarding intimacy, and what had seemed like a diplomatic gesture of trust had become something neither of them had anticipated. The genetic scans are conclusive, Lissa continued. The child carries markers from both our species. My scientists believe it is, because Valoran reproduction is adaptive, designed to incorporate beneficial traits from compatible genetic material. Your DNA, human DNA, proved compatible in ways we never imagined. Why did you not tell me sooner? Adrian asked, his voice strained. Because I wanted to be certain. Because I knew what it would mean. Lissa's 4 arms gestured around the throne room. Do you understand what you have done? In all of Valoran history, there has never been a hybrid child. This child represents the future, Adrian. A bridge between our peoples made flesh. Adrian walked to one of the massive windows overlooking the capital city. Towers of crystalline architecture stretched toward the sky, and flying vehicles moved in orderly streams between them. Somewhere in that city were the human embassy staff, his colleagues who were preparing for his departure. You cannot drop this on me the day before I am scheduled to leave, he said, his back still to her. This is not fair. Fair? Lissa's voice rose again, the harmonics carrying a sharp edge. You speak to me of fairness? I am an empress who has never shown weakness, who has led fleets into battle, who has negotiated treaties that shaped the balance of power in this sector. And now I carry a child whose very existence will reshape the political landscape of the galaxy, and its father wishes to abandon us both for duty to a distant world. Adrian turned to face her. I am not abandoning anyone. I did not know. You know now, Lissa said. She moved closer, and this time her hands did reach out, gently taking his. The touch was warm, her crystalline skin smooth, yet somehow organic. Stay, Adrian. Not as a diplomat, not as a liaison. Stay as my partner. Help me navigate what comes next. Your people will never accept a human as consort to their empress, Adrian said, though even as he spoke, he knew he was grasping at objections. My people respect strength, Lissa countered. You have proven yourself 1,000 times over. There will be resistance, yes, but the Council of Lords cannot deny the evidence of what this child represents. A new era, Adrian. That is what we are creating. Adrian looked into her violet eyes and saw the truth there. She was not lying, not manipulating. The proud empress was laying bare her genuine feelings, something that went against every instinct her culture had bred into her. What about Earth? He asked. What about my responsibilities there? Earth will understand, or they will not, Lissa said. But consider this. You can do more for human-Valoran relations by staying here, by being part of this family, than you ever could as a diplomatic functionary. This child will be the ultimate ambassador. Adrian knew she was right, even as the certainty of his planned departure crumbled around him. He thought about his apartment on Earth, his aging parents, his sister and her children. He thought about missing birthdays and holidays, about video calls that could never bridge the light years between stars. But he also thought about the tiny life growing inside Lissa, a child that should not exist according to all known science, yet did. A child that was his responsibility, his legacy. I need time to think, he said finally. This is not a decision I can make in a moment. Lisa's luminescence shifted to a softer blue, relief evident in the change. I am not asking you to decide this instant, but your shuttle departs tomorrow. Delay it. Take the time you need. Just do not leave without giving us a real chance. Adrian nodded slowly. I will contact the embassy. Request an extension for personal reasons. Thank you, Lissa said, and the gratitude in her voice was profound. As Adrian left the throne room to begin the complicated process of unwinding his departure, he realized that his life had just shifted on its axis. The soldier and diplomat from Earth was about to become something unprecedented, the father of a child who would belong to two worlds, to species, two futures. Behind him, Empress Lissa placed a hand over her abdomen, feeling the faint flutter of life within. The child, their child, would change everything. And despite her anger and fear, she allowed herself a small smile. The human had not said no. That was enough for now. The stars visible through the palace windows seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself recognized that something significant had shifted in the careful balance of galactic civilization. A new chapter was beginning, written not in conquest or treaty, but in the fragile hope of connection across the vast divide between species. And it all hinged on one human's choice: duty to the past or responsibility to the foot.